Eric, what the have you gotten this into?
So this is an ultra rare Toyota pickup. 1983 and a half Toyota pickup. Some people call it a Hilux for this body style. In America, we call it a pickup. Globally, it was known as a Hilux. For this generation, they were the same. So it is a Hilux. This is a Mojave trim.
Oh.
It's basically one teeny tiny trim notch above an SR5, but it has some trim specific things that only the Mojave has, like the bucket seats. It doesn't say Toyota on the tailgate. You've got the chrome, you've got the wheels and the center caps. Yeah. That's a big thing, because most of these were Steelies or hubcap trucks.
They actually kind of look sharp.
They'll look even better after a good wash.
Yeah.
But this is more rare by a large margin than my Firebird Firehawk, which is numbered on a registry, because there were only 3,500 of these made globally for one single year model.
How do you keep stumbling into, and I truly mean stumbling into these super rare vehicles, because that Firehawk, the more you research
that was an accidental buy.
After you bought it,
yeah.
You were like, I've got something here.
I was just looking for a clean, really close to all original, low mile car. Ended up being the last one they ever made, signatures under the hood. This one, God's blessing, you know, go to church, pray. Seriously, my father came into this truck because his friend who's had this his whole life. Oh, did I mention one owner? One owner. So
yeah,
my father's friend who used to live in Phoenix, Arizona, where he bought this originally. The car was there for about 25 years.
Makes sense to sell the Mojave in Phoenix.
Yeah, and it's pretty close by. And then for the remainder of its life, it was here in East Texas. It's not as dry and hot as a desert, but we don't salt the roads. And there's not a lot of rust issues here, so it's pretty clean. He's getting older. He wanted someone to get the truck that was going to take care of it. Dad bought it for $100, but it never went on the road. It got towed to his house, and then he kind of like putted around the property on it, like an East Texas farm truck. But he never registered it. He never put it on the road. He never carried insurance on it, never did anything to it. So it's kind of been putting around for a few months.
Farm truck.
And so, I bought it from him for $600. I mean, so Dad made $500. I got an ultra rare pickup to do a restoration on.
Win-win.
Everybody's winning. Speaking of how old it is, we thought the odometer was broke because there was no way it had this many miles. We thought it just kind of broke and rattled around to some numbers. No, it's rolling accurate.
How much?
Over 331,000 miles on a nearly all original drivetrain. The only thing that I know to have been replaced is, oh God, it's so heavy, is the top end, lifter, springs, cam.
Holy cow.
Everything.
And you've got the original. Like
everything that this man, one owner man, did to this truck, he kept the original parts with the truck, wrote the date on it that it got replaced. So it's got a new distributor cap. It's got...
I'm looking, replaced 221, 83 Toyota.
Everything's been kept up with. So yes, it's old. Yes, it's a little crusty.
Yeah.
But there's the frame is clean. Here, you want to, here. How about, let's crank it up. Let's see how,
the ultimate test.
Let's see how tough this thing is to crank. 331,000 miles on the original drivetrain.
Over 40 years old, older than me.
All right.
Yes, older than me. Okay, show off.
And because it's a Toyota, it's gonna beep.
Yeah, until you buckle up, even in the 80s.
But that's it. Let's let that warm up, because we're gonna go for a quick spin. Then we're gonna hop under it and look at the top. We're gonna generate a list for what needs replaced, not only for the safety of driving it and getting it legally registered and driving it without, more importantly, stopping it, honestly. More importantly, stopping it.
You took me for a spin in this. There are some things, yes.
It needs some things, but we're gonna create a checklist on everything it needs. So it's gonna end up getting paint, new tires. We're gonna go with Kumo Solis 51As. We had those on my wife's car. Love them. It's one of the only tires you can get in this little pizza cutter size. It's like a modern tread compound, modern tread block
Do
design.
these even have, we've got, what are they, 205, 75, R14s.
Yeah, I think we're gonna step to a 215 to get a more square contact patch, but we'll probably go down on a sidewall size.
The smells I'm getting, you know, they say smells are most closely related to memory. I am taken back to my old on the farm days of old pickup trucks, and
it has a decent amount of engine cleaner in the tank right now, so it is just ejecting just a ton of, I mean, I'm staining my driveway right now. So it's gonna get, all the fluids are gonna get flushed and flushed again. Everything's gonna get opened up. If something starts leaking because I flushed it, that means it needed replaced anyway.
yeah, don't kill me on this one.
Well, did I tell you the brakes don't work?
And I've just got a metal bash plate here in front of me. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh,
It needs a power steering pump too, by the way. So the good news,
it moves.
it moves, runs, drives.
Stops.
Stop. Well, wait till you see this next part. No.
Again, I mentioned my bash plate here in front of me.
You don't need an airbag. This is kind of soft.
This ain't.
It turns. It needs a power steering pump, but all the glass is intact.
Okay.
That was a big thing for me. All the glass is intact. The roof liner, the headliner is in pretty good shape. Heat works. All the blower fans work. Radio doesn't work. Clutch works. All 5 gears and reverse work.
Oh, okay. You bring up clutch. You showed me the craziest thing. Is that specific to this truck or what? But you started it up without pushing.
It doesn't care if you push the clutch, the gas, the brake. It doesn't even care if you're in the truck. If the ignition turns, it cycles the starter. We'll do a little off-road test here. Another crazy part, this truck doesn't have traditional springs up front. No coils, no leaves. It's just like,
all right, we're getting under there, and you're showing me this, right?
It's just a piece of metal. It's almost like a sway bar cut in half.
Okay.
Let's punch it. Let's do a little peel out. Little open diff. Needs a clutch. Put a clutch on the list. Pump up the brakes. Yeah, boy. All right. Never mind that Durango RT all-wheel drive up there. You can go to Corey's channel to see that. Hemi lives yet again. Let's get this thing on the lift. See what it looks like. That was intentional. It's a Toyota, so it beeps when the seatbelt's not on. I don't know if it has enough clutch. All right, e-brake. E-brake is solid, I can tell you that. Turn it off. And as a fail-safe, second gear. We'll chalk the rear tires because my insurance is good, but not that good. And then we'll do a little walk around. See how much money I'm gonna have to spend.
All right, Eric, come in close. Before we do a walk around on this and make our list, I want to talk Toyota logo because, again, 1983 and a half, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, this is not recognizable by most Toyota fans now. We still get the same word mark, but this right here, that's Pontiac logo. Hands down, Pontiac logo right there. But you can see it's the Toyota T in 2 pieces. The current Toyota logo wasn't even being thought of when this truck was made. It was a 5-year process that culminated in 1989. So in 1984-ish, Toyota started thinking, hey, we kind of need a unified logo for all of our products across the globe. This beat it out.
Let's go over the quick and obvious things that it needs. paint. It's pretty obvious on the exterior, then we'll go interior, then we'll crawl under it. Exterior needs paint and a good wash.
Yes.
And then some dent removal. There's some surface rust. Nothing's completely eaten through except for on the tailgate, which sucks because that's Mojave specific, so that might be pricey. I mean, it's still got the chrome bumper. It's got a little minor ding. I'm not replacing a whole bumper for that. It's still got 331,000 miles on the clock. We're gonna freshen her up. Headlights, low and high work. The running lights and side markers work. These work. Here, I'll turn them on.
And this is back when the U.S. regulated that everything be self-contained, as we've got here on this one. You look at any 80s vehicle sold in America,
Yeah.
same headlight unit.
We're not going to LEDs. We're gonna get the nicest halogens we can. We wanna update it, but keep it classic. So those work, those work, those work, those work all the way around. Needs paint, obviously. Wheels are in great condition on all four corners. They all have the center caps, which is a genuine surprise. So these are gonna get really well cleaned. I'm not powder coating them. I'm not painting them. I'm cleaning them, and they're staying like that. Again, these are gonna get swapped for some Kumo 51As, I believe. That's pretty much the most modern tire that they make in baby sizes. All this chrome work is here. If I can salvage original parts, I'm doing that. I suspect all this will be fine. Again, paint and surface rust. It's a desert truck, but looks pretty good. There's some small dents, dings. Those small things, the paint and body shop is gonna work all that out. So bed, body panels, everything but the tailgate should all stay original. Again, nice wheel. That works. These lights work. And here we are. Mojave did not have Toyota embossed or painted on the rear tailgate. That was part of the one of 3,500 ever made pieces was this tailgate. And I've got a big ass crack in the middle of it. Looks like from someone reversing into it.
Yeah.
It happens.
Had some
We'll see.
intention behind it.
This will probably have to get replaced. I suspect the fab work to get this fixed and look OE versus just buying a new one. It'd probably be cheaper to just hunt one down.
I don't know.
One that has Toyota painted on it and just spray over it.
Yeah.
Because again, the whole thing's getting painted anyway.
It's a pretty simple, flat design tailgate. It's not like an overstyle.
Could be rubber mallets and some smoothed out well. We'll see. Bed is in pretty decent shape. It's got dents and dings because it's a bed.
Look at what we got here, though. No cables or anything.
That's a man's tailgate. No auto up, auto down.
Oh, you mean if I just
close
walk
it with
out
your
and
knee.
lift it with my knee, it's gonna close all the way?
Yep. Lights work on this side. Bed's in pretty good shape. Drain holes are open. Tons of drain holes. I mean, so many drain holes, you'd think this is fifth wheel ready. But there's drain holes galore. We've got, you ready?
A box of parts.
Limited edition. These are new, original, or name brand aftermarket replacement parts for just all kinds of stuff that normally gets sun baked and cooked away. And so I've already got, if any of these reflectors need replaced, I've probably already got a period correct replacement right here. This is a window crank, brand new in box, which it needs.
Yeah.
Ready to go. OE part. Come around here, same story. Tiny dents, tiny dings. It's nasty, but it will be repaired and repainted. Chrome's fine on this side. Wheels and center caps are all present. I mean, considering how ugly it is, it's what the old timers would say. The truck is straight. Doors open and close. No funky noises. The chassis straight.
I'd say that door sounds just as solid closing it as a 2025 Camry.
While you got that camera, poke your head in here. This is the most, to me, this is gonna be the more difficult part, is the interior. Because it needs a new one.
Yeah.
Because Mojave has those sick, what they used to call bucket seats. It looks like a bench cut in half to me. These aren't buckets, but that's what they called them. Let me turn on this stuff, turn all that off. So this is all gonna get custom embroidered. We're not gonna do a cat skin or a cover. They're gonna take it down to the frame, repad it. Gonna go leather on the exterior trim parts, because that's what wears out the fastest. So I want more durable leather on the outer edges.
What do you mean it wears out the fastest?
Yeah, look, that's mint. That's a mint 300K right there. And then down the center, we're gonna go like 80s desert style. So we're talking like geometric Aztec and Native American shapes that was real popular in the 80s. We're gonna do a similar trim up here on the dash, because the dash, go figure, has a hole in it just from being old. And I'm not gonna just slap a dash cover on there. So we're gonna color match this to the interior.
You're not just gonna put the carpet on the dash and call it a day?
That would be vintage, yes. 4 carpets are getting replaced. We're gonna stick with earth tones, brown, tan, maybe throw some cream in there, maybe just a touch of like some red stitching here and there to make it pop with the Toyota logos. We've got to do it tasteful, and I want it to be period correct. It's not going to be an exact replica of what it was off the showroom. I'm not interested in doing that. It's got too many miles. This will be turned back to factory, but we got, excuse me, sir, and get out of the way on the horns. Door panels are going to be done to match the seats and the rest of the interior. That's all getting freshened up. The good thing is the tack, the speedo, the voltmeter, the oil pressure gauge all work and are accurate. Even the fuel gauge work and are accurate. So we've got really good potential with this truck. It's going to take time and money, but
not too much money.
not too much. It's not like a Firebird. Corey, we almost forgot. We didn't look under the hood.
Wait, nothing happened up here.
Oh, it's a safety feature. So just give it a little twist. No, it actually came up. You might not see this on camera, but the radiator doesn't even have bent fins. And I'm not saying that's an original radiator because I'm not sure. But just by looking at the oxidation, it's not brand new either.
Yeah.
So it's well taken care of. And look at this, a factory cold air intake. It sucks air right off the nose. We are not going to put a carburetor with an air intake that sits right here and just hot boxes the thing. I want to keep it factory plus. So there's oil in places there shouldn't be. There's pretty much all the seals, soft rubbers, stiff rubber, plastic, anything that's not made of metal is probably getting replaced under here.
I was surprised at just how much plastic is underneath here.
Yeah,
and the
this is just
condition
destroyed.
in which some of it is. You typically don't see plastic on brake master cylinders, do you?
No, and you might find this hard to believe, but brake fluid is leaking.
Yeah,
And
surprised.
it is leaking from almost where you pointed.
Yeah.
And you're onto something, Corey. Let me crank it, and I'm going to show you something that's
You mean that
really the reverse of exciting.
You mean
What-
that plastic didn't hold up over 40 years?
Yeah, it's a big surprise.
I can actually see the throttle cable moving as you
Yeah.
step on the.
Right here.
Yeah.
So I've already taken this off. It had a ton of soot in there, which means we're blowing a lot of oil around, which is not good. That was sign number 1. 2, there were acorns in there, so I evicted the squirrels. But if we open up this oil fill cap, 1, the oil is freaking filthy, but 2, there is a considerable amount of blow by.
Woo.
Like a lot, like piston ring needs replaced.
Holy cow.
It's damp
Yeah.
and it's not water. So we clearly have some seals that are bad.
Yes.
They're
like the
wet.
whole, what is this? The oil pan right here? That is like caked.
Yeah, all this fresh wet is because we filled up the brake booster reservoir right before I took off,
Yeah.
and it has since let some go.
Good gosh. The simplicity under here.
Look, find
Has to
the
be-
springs for the front.
That nary a spring.
There's not one.
They do not exist. This is a very interesting front suspension that
Everything is metal.
yeah.
Everything's metal. Even though it's leaking, it still runs and drives. The starter's new. I know that because I had to tighten it down before I could leave.
Let's be honest. Like, Toyota has a reputation for reliability, and there's only so much that rubber can do over 40 years. Like, stuff does need to be replaced. But yeah, like you were saying,
Even then, look at this sway bar.
yeah,
The end link, the rubber on it. I'm not saying it's fresh, but it's pliable and it's not disintegrated. So what they do have under here in your boots are still pretty good. Now, there are some fittings here that have service portals for grease zerks. I don't know that those have I don't know that those have ever been touched, because I knocked the crust off of this yesterday. Some is still under my eyelid. So the serviced parts that were intended to be serviced probably haven't really been. And it's still just, it doesn't even squeak. Doesn't make any noise.
it's good old simple farm truck. Exactly, you got what you're paying for.
So we definitely need this shock.
Yeah.
I'm going to put shocks on all four corners. I'm going to try and put some crimson red that I put on the tractor in these service ports here. If it'll hold it, then I'll leave those alone.
Potentially some rubber updates here and there.
Yeah. So rubber, gaskets, and common repair parts is all this needs. Really no surprises under here. And I would rather see grease covering something, because that's an oxygen barrier.
Yeah.
So there's no rust.
Speaking of like metal parts and stuff, as we get further back, we've got exhaust, which you already told me is a very simple exhaust design. But
Yeah. Super rare, although not sought after, Toyota Hilux that needs gone through, and it needs pretty much all the normal service and wear items, and that's kind of it. I think we might rebuild the motor depending on how I can get it cleaned up externally, but if I've got to crack it open, we're going to go OEM plus, but still maintain reliability. I want this to be a nice, clean, respectful, tasteful, period correct, but not a direct copy of what came off the showroom floor build. So I'm going to be doing a lot of updates on this. We're going to do an engine oil change, and then immediately put in new oil and a cleaner, run it for a mile or two, and dump it, and see how much trash comes out of this motor with real oil, with real detergents. Then fill it back up with a full synthetic, and if that full synthetic makes stuff leak, that means there was a problem in the first place.
Yeah.
The old idea that you don't put a full synthetic in an old car because it cleans too good is like saying, I have a hole in my left ventricle, but there's a clot holding it together, so we're just going to look the other way. If it starts to leak because I put full synthetics with good detergents in there, then that's just a part that needs to be replaced. Yep. So we're going to get into this over the course of 1 to 2 years. Please God, no longer than that. And then it will end up probably getting sold unless I fall in love with it. So
on the auction block, so it could be yours. So
eventually,
sound off down in the comments what you want to see. Like,
yeah, give us some ideas, because I am pretty new to this platform. So if you have some ideas, let me know. I'll listen.
I suppose there are quite a few faithful that will find this, and keep us on the straight and narrow, and not let us destroy it too badly.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so.